What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Shopper channel, coming to you with a Wednesday edition of MLB Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. I was huge, big time bummed out when Bibee ends up getting 2 strikeouts to finish out the 6th. But then he comes out inexplicably to start the 7th. He got up to 94 pitches. Throws an immediate bomb to Jazz Chisholm. And then if you saw Lindy's long balls, the short here on the Odd Shopper YouTube channel, you got Anthony Volpe across the line over plus 850 there. 860 where we locked him in over there at Profit X. Good times had by all. So, hey, you lose a little bit there. You win even more on the other side. Thank you, Anthony Volpe there. And Stephen Vogt for managing terribly there in that spot. Although I honestly don't know what he was doing. I thought for sure Bibee was going to be done after he strikes out Bellinger, strikes out Paul Goldschmidt. 2 strikeouts for Paul Goldschmidt in the 5-hole. What are you doing, bro? Oh, that was so tilting. But anywho, we are going to move along our merry way. 3-2 here going into the 8th. That is in Cincinnati, Milwaukee. Hopefully they can hold on. Kikuchi was getting so lucky, and then you got Rafaela going yard, so 3-3 looking all right there. Coming to you right around 9:15 p.m. Eastern time, 6:15 out on the West Coast. So check that all out. I want to go watch some baseball here in the evening window, so I got everything done nice and early here for everybody. Plus, there's 5 spots that are really good, lots of pitching, lots of things to consider here on this slate. 3 games early on, then we have an entire evening slate, so there's not even like afternoon baseball. It's kind of strange how it's constructed, but that's neither here nor there. Producer Jacob's ready to rock. I'm ready to roll. 15 MLB games. Let's get to the picks. Just like Tom Thibodeau, oh man, gonna have to get fired. You lose a series to the Rockies for the first time. Yeah, you probably are on the old hot seat. I mean, Miami, what are you actually doing? Also, why is Thibodeau not employed by the Knicks? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's something for Knicks fans to negotiate with themselves. Way to reward somebody for getting to the Eastern Conference Finals first time in 25 years. Anyway, I'm going to keep that to myself. We've got Colorado first 5 money line I'm actually contemplating here. I think Kyle Freeland's the better pitcher between the two. Kyle Freeland versus Cal Quantrill. Don't get me wrong, they're both bad, but like you are really seeing Miami play to score. What do I mean by that? Brought it up in the premium Discord. There was a super small play. It ended up being a quarter unit. Didn't end up really mattering all that much, but I said Sandy Alcantara probably had a good chance of getting pulled through 6 innings because they're kind of protecting him. There's rumors that there are teams that actually want to trade for him and see what he's got left in the tank because he was a Cy Young caliber guy until coming off of the IL and just basically throwing flat fastballs this season. And, it's just not been going very well for him. But Colorado first 5 here. If Miami's going to roll out these weird lineups and they sent Matt Mervis back down in Colorado, they're kind of doing the same finagling themselves. But you do have Kyle Freeland. He's going to go out and try. Cal Quantrill, he's going to go out and try. But I think Kyle Freeland, southpaw, you neutralize some of these lefties, Kyle Stowers, you get Connor Norby back in that lineup, but he's been hitting it really, really weakly. It's been a strange spot, although I thought Connor Norby was kind of an interesting long shot target there. Might be again tomorrow. We'll take a look, but Colorado first 5 money line, plus money. The only reason that I'm really looking at that because nobody should really be plus money against Cal Quantrill. Milwaukee taking on Cincy, and this one is interesting because Stevenson ends up going yard after I had already put him in the sheet because I basically run all my stuff. I start afternoons. I basically am working on this slate for more than 24 hours when it's all said and done, and then overlap with the next day's slate because I love baseball. If I didn't, I probably wouldn't be doing this show for years, covering 15 game slates 5 times a week, or I guess it's like 3 days a week because Monday, Thursday, you never know what you're going to get. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, we know we're getting 15 games down the pipeline. Producer Jacob loves those. But Stevenson, I bet him 1 time to hit a home run for a quarter unit. He didn't convert, but he had 3 hits within the game. It was in Kansas City. And now he heads back into Great American Small Park, and I kind of like the outlook of him in this spot against son of a priest, man. Lots of ways for this to work out, but I get nervous that you're going to get openers in spots like this. And if you get openers, it really becomes difficult for me to justify wanting to play him here, even at cleanup, because his odds were super short against Freddie Peralta today. So despite the fact that it's my favorite play that exists in the game right now, it's still one that I'm keeping on the outside looking in because I am worried about where his odds are going to land day to day. That's important. Speaking of odds day to day, Spencer Horwitz, I haven't really gone off the grid until Anthony Volpe today, and Anthony Volpe goes yard. Actually, that's not true. Ended up cashing Jose Caballero, the only lone hit basically against Framber Valdez in the leadoff spot out of the middle of nowhere in Houston. So 2 really long shot plays that I've converted here in the last week. Just running hot. And then this one was on Lindy's long balls, so wasn't just Discord exclusive, which makes me happy to share some nice freebies with the people. But how about Spencer Horwitz? He comes over, gets a cast off from Toronto, and I think the lefty power is still going to look pretty good against Ryan Gusto here in this ballpark. I mean, Ryan Gusto's very lucky that he plays in Houston, where that left side is definitely the problematic side. You know, you get southpaws in there, Crawford boxes, you have pull hitters, it's a problem. But also the right field side is kind of a cavern. Yordan Alvarez makes it look easier than what it is. I know he's on the IL, but just saying years and years of Yordan Alvarez going yard in that park. He goes yard in a lot of parks. And Mike Burrows on the other side, not really looking to back him by any means. Why can't they call it Bubba Chandler? It drives me nuts. Pittsburgh fans know what I'm talking about. Cubbies, Washington, Gore, 7 Ks. You have no Kyle Tucker in that lineup. That is definitely helpful for strikeout avoidance, even left on left here, because obviously he'd be in the 2 hole, and you're not looking at a lot of great projections there. But I've got his fair line right around -145 for over 6.5. Take that for what you will. Want to reassess that tomorrow, but based on what I'm expecting this line to be, I know we've seen some 7.5s. You haven't seen him against the Cubbies, and they do have righties like Nico Horner. Miso Horner. You have an opportunity to potentially have him higher up in the order, and that would be a problem at 7.7% K rate. He never strikes out. But you remove Kyle Tucker, and I kind of feel better about it because Nico Horner, I still think it's unlikely he finishes up in that top 4, even with Kyle Tucker out of the lineup. PCA, we'll see if he's cleanup or 3 or where they decide to rotate him around. Next up in the lean category, boop, Cleveland, New York. Grisham and Rice, 2 lefties, because it's Luis Ortiz, our good friend Luis Ortiz, in a small ballpark. It's probably going to be nuked odds. It's probably going to look ridiculous. And I do want to take a look at both of them. And Jazz Chisholm goes yard today. Obviously, Volpe did too. That's what really mattered for us. And then we got to move along to Drake Baldwin. But Yankees just rounded out Clark Schmidt. Difficult matchup considering some of the lefty power. Kyle Manzardo should be back in that lineup today. You'll have Jose Ramirez. You'll have a number of other pieces that are just worrisome enough. Nolan Jones even. Who? Nolan Jones. Who? Nolan Jones. Back then, Hose did not want him. Now he's hot. Hose are all on him. And we got Drake Baldwin, who I think is one of the better stories. Drake Baldwin, for all my America FF fans. We got Drake Baldwin, one of the better stories in baseball because he just smacks the ball around in Atlanta and nobody talks about it. He's so quietly under the radar, maybe not in Atlanta, but internationally and I guess nationally. Nobody's talking about Drake Baldwin. 56.7% hard hit percentage, 377 xWOBA, 511 expected slugging. Start getting familiar. Now, Chris Sale, not going to be a whole lot to mine out of that one if you're the Arizona Diamondbacks going up against a lefty. But Merrill Kelly is definitely problematic here. And I do think that there are ways that Michael Harris, even as bad as he's been, might be somebody that I'm looking at in the 2-hit market or potentially 2 bases. God, is it just dreadful the season he's having. But he's still good defensively, or he's even been kind of down for that. We got Corey Seager. I'm not going to probably end up betting him to hit a home run here. It's going to be super short odds, but the weather has been dreadful down there. And Drew Rasmussen was so fantastic. I was bummed out because I was going to talk about him. I wanted to bet his strikeout prop, and then the weather looked awful. They did have an in-game delay. I would have been just sweating bullets. So I'm happy in some ways to avoid it. I'm also sad because I think he had 8 strikeouts in 5 innings today. He just continues to be one of the more under-the-radar pitchers. We go from under-the-radar bat to under-the-radar pitchers. Anyway, the Rangers on the other side of this one, we don't really know what we're going to get from them. More than likely some type of bullpen game. Detroit and the Sox. The Sox, bullpen, for sure. Absolutely going to roll out a bullpen spot for them. And then Gibson Long, he's going to get another turn through the rotation. Will he stay there long? I don't know. I was going to try to think of something to rhyme with Gibson. Rip. I got nothing. Next slide. We got one more thing of leans. Super quick, super easy. Boop. Runs. Twins, A's. They're just playing the absolute finagling game. I mean, the A's just, are they going to use Lopez or they're not going to use Lopez against Lopez? Because Pablo Lopez is pitching on Tuesday. And then we roll out an entire righty-heavy lineup without Matt Wallner. I don't know. I want to do the Brian Windhorst. Now, why is that the case? Now, they do have another lefty there that's sitting there. They also could have a day off in between. They could utilize the other two lefties that are in that bullpen yet again in this spot, but I'm going to have to look at the box score to really understand what the hell's going on, because there's so much pinch hit risk when it comes to props on the Minnesota side right now with their current configuration. And as for the A's, I mean, we have absolutely no freaking clue what they're going to roll out on a day in, day out basis. They went to Holman today. He's going to pitch like an inning in that game. And then I'm very curious to see who the long relievers are behind. Might have to be some live plays. I almost yawned and coughed at the same time. That's weird. Rounding it all out, the Mets and LA over 9.5. That is what we're looking at here, but nothing's really bettable with it at the moment. I do get a little bit worried here that this is just two insanely good offenses and an insanely good hitter's park. And then it just becomes a little bit of publicly used. And then you have to remember both have pretty damn good bullpens. But Griffin Canning's been terrible. Tony Gonsolin been giving up tons of hard contact, but also getting swing and miss. It's a push and pull situation here. So over 9.5, minus 102 right now, best available on FanDuel. I'm going to pump the brakes because I know how many props are going to get fired in the premium Discord. Ooh, did somebody say premium Discord? Here's how you get in for less than $1 a day. $5 for your first week. In fact, using promo code Lindy5. Before we get to the likes, we just covered all the leans. That is, things that are not yet plays could get upgraded. Well, they'll get upgraded over in the premium Discord. And hey, if you hit me up on X at Eric Lindquist, I'll be happy to let you know as well. Can you tell I'm caffeinated? I sure am. Lindy5 friends, down at the link below. Just $5 for your first week to come kick it. Trust me, they're having a lot of fun in there tonight, even though Tanner Bybee can't believe he got to 6 Ks. But thanks again for the Volpe home run, Bobby Wood Jr. home run. Lots of good things happening. Those weren't on the program last night. So come get all the things that are going through my brain. Actually, you don't want that. Lindy5, that's what you want. Down at the link below, $5 for your first week. To the plays we go. First game right out the gate. We got 5 plays that are going to be coming your way. Actually, 4 that I've bet. 1 that's going to be a lean like that's also a money line, but this is not actually the money line. That's next up. We've got the Angels. We've got Boston, and I bet the over on Tuesday. I bet this is going to be something that I'm going to be looking at on Wednesday, and I definitely am with the pitchers that are on the mound in the morning window. Lucas Giolito, Jose Soriano. This is going to be the game that you're going to want to plug into at work because I expect runs. First off, afternoon Boston. Second off, now is when you really get to let it rip if you are Jose Soriano, because your ground ball stuff, maybe it can work out, but there's so much lefty power, and despite what people think, there is a lot of room out in the alleyway and dead center in Fenway Park. It's shorter out to left despite the presence of the Green Monster. But Lucas Giolito, holy shit, is he bad. 371 xWOBA, 517 expected slugging. It is really brutal, and he's a fly ball pitcher. What is nice for him is that you don't really have any lefties to worry about in this Angels lineup. What you do have to worry about is the fact that you still have a 1.70 whip against righties this season. You're going to do that against Trout and Neto and Ward, and you're probably going to get destroyed. And Logan O'Hoppe got the day off on Tuesday, refunded our little money there. That was all right. No harm, no foul there, as long as you didn't bet on FanDuel. I don't think he's pitch hitting yet. Whatever, you don't care about that. You care about the play. Over 9.5. That is going to get our card kicked off. Let's go to the next one. We got ourselves Philly and Toronto, and I said I had a money line. You should probably know which side I'm on when Jose Berrios is on one side of the mound. This guy is routinely made me money betting against him. Now, this season, haven't been as successful. 2 for 2. That's not very pretty, but there are ways that you get to overs, and obviously those have been very profitable over the course of the last 3.5 years, 4 years of doing this program, because he's been a cash cow when you bet against him there in old Toronto. He continues to have a 465 expected slugging, nearly 12% barrel percentage, and once you know it, there's lefty and righty power everywhere in the Phillies lineup. But let's talk about Mick Abel, who had an unbelievable start in his debut. I do not expect anything remotely close to what we saw against Pittsburgh. First off, the book is now out on him. You got to see exactly what kind of a mix he's going to be utilizing at the big league level. He's got a four-seamer, he's got a curve, but boy, did he look really polished for a young arm here. 23 years old, first rounder, highly touted here for Philly, number 8 in the pipeline, but still one of those guys that I just went on a deep dive for. And I kind of like what I saw. Now, Toronto, they've been what the kids call hot lately. I don't care about stuff like that. And I do care about like George Springer barreling it up, Vlad Guerrero barreling it up, Addison Berger. What the hell are you on right now, bro? But there's so many things when you look at the lineup of the Phillies up against Berrios, much more known quantity. And then you factor in that it's minus 102 on the Phillies. And I know that they've got some issues with the bullpen this season and going back to, Noah Alvarado and dinged up and all this other crap. I still trust them a lot more than Toronto, who had to utilize Eric Lauer, who is the left-on-left guy, in long relief today once Bowden Francis got annihilated. So I think Phillies are looking pretty good in the bullpen situation, and we're getting the diminished price. Minus 102, this is not a coin flip. I definitely prefer the Phillies. I think they should be favored, even ever so slightly, minus 115, minus 105, something like that. But that's enough for a play. Half unit, Phillies money line, 0.51 units, if we're being exactly correct. Speaking of correct, holy crap, Victor Scott was in the right place to rob young Jack Caglianone of his first major league hit today. You probably saw that there. His first at bat, he barreled it up pretty nicely. I don't even think it went down as a barrel on Baseball Savant, but let me just tell you, the swing, the lefty swing, looks real nice on this kid, getting called up 22 years of age, getting his first look at the big leagues. And all of his numbers got completely nuked as the day went on because everybody's excited about him. Oh, he was hitting in Double-A. Look at what he did in Triple-A. And now he's getting a chance batting sixth today. But I like it a lot more with and I liked Kansas City. Obviously, we were on their team total. So they're up 8-7 right now. That was an auto cash. Do you enjoy auto cashes? I sure do. That was an auto cash. But I definitely think you want to be looking at 2+ bags for the young man here against Miles Mikolas because he is terrible, horrible, no good, very bad. And there's no way we're not getting plus money on him. He might be one of the better lefty young prospects that exists in baseball. I mean, James Wood is a proven commodity now at this point in time. 22 years of age as well, just ridiculous. But Caglianone, this guy has all of the tools, and Kansas City has been desperate for anything from the left side. I think he's up here to stay as long as he keeps the K rate down, which he should. I like the swing. And again, Victor Scott, that was very, very evil of you. But hey, Kansas City auto cash in the team total department. I'll take it. Oh, you want to take some more stuff over at Portfolio V? Yeah, that's a good place to get some other bets. How about right here at the video description box below? Lindy 1. Lindy 1 will get you all of that. Holy crap, I'm so caffeinated today. But also, Anthony Volpe injected it into my veins. I'm done saying his name. Lindy 1, 2 free weeks, completely free to you. It's the best market-based betting in the entire industry. You go over to oddshopper.com or to the video description box below. You sign up using code Lindy1 and check it out for 2 weeks completely free. See what I'm talking about. If you have any questions, I got some answers for you over at Eric Lindquist over on X. Back to the picks we go. Yeah, Baltimore taking on Seattle, and we're going to be in a tight sub 20-minute program here today because I don't have a lot to add other than Baltimore money line should be something on your radar. I have not played this yet, but I didn't want to just give you 4 plays and get the heck up out if you're on a 15-game slate. No. But it is so important to know what the bullpen situation is going to be coming off of today in a low-scoring environment, and that is going to be what I watched with this George Kirby festivities this evening. That's why I want to get the heck up out of here in 5 minutes so I can go watch that, and hopefully we cash under 5.5 strikeouts for George Kirby in the premium Discord. But Baltimore plus 1.5 taking on Seattle, and boy, oh boy, do I not like this Hancock fellow. He's just, I like John Hancock, first signer of the Declaration of Independence, had the biggest signature because he just wanted to let it be known. My name's John Hancock, and that is kind of what it is. Where was I getting at with that? It's not even a funny bit. Why does my wife love me? I love my wife. I just want to remind everybody of that every day. But Cade Povich, friends, even though he is not very good, 50.3% hard hit, 389 xWOBA, 13% barrel percentage, at least he's from the left side. And Cal Raleigh, you move him over to the right. You have Mitch Garver out there. Jorge Polanco, far less effective from the right side. Randy Rosarena, Julio Rodriguez, they'll get the platoon. Does it even matter as much? No, because they traditionally have been all right against righties too. Rowdy Tellez, you get out of the lineup. You get JP Crawford neutralized left on left to some extent. I don't know what to make of it. Dylan Moore is already okay, but boy, oh boy, friends. Why have I said boy, oh boy 48 times today? I don't know. Plus 118 at FanDuel. I'm going to wait for this to get inflated. And also, I really need to see the Baltimore lineup. So, Baltimore money line, lean like. If it gets to plus 125, regardless of the bullpen situation, go ahead and fire it up. If you have questions, I'll have answers at Eric Lindquist. Hit me up there. That's my name. It's also Lindy, but also that's my handle. And the last game of the night, speaking of bombs, boy, have we been hot in the home run department. I guess it's like a post-Memorial Day thing. I guess it started before Memorial Day, but I mean, I'm just finding the board very, very easy to carve out. And now we're starting to get some temperatures to go with it. You know where it never really works out temperature-wise? San Francisco. It's like playing in a snow globe. You never get it too cold. You never get it warm ever. Like, how many times do you think a baseball game's been played above 70 degrees in that ballpark this season? I guarantee you the number's like 0. But it's not like books don't know weather. And I say this a lot because we just kind of assume, oh, look, the wind's blowing out in Wrigley, and now we're going to bet all these. No, you still need to be very sensitive to price. It's price and probability. And sometimes you might want to stack 2 or 3 guys up because you like the game environment. I've never really heard anybody say that about San Francisco in my life, but let's take a little walk through both of these pitchers, shall we? Because I think both of them have some issues. Nick Pivetta, at the beginning of the season, he was avoiding the barrels. They're creeping back into the repertoire. 11.5% barrel percentage he's at now for the season. I think everybody on the San Francisco side, north of like the plus 500 mark, Matt Chapman gets there, Heliot Ramos gets there, Mike Yastrzemski will definitely be there, although I don't know if he should be with a 17-degree launch angle and the ability to pull the ball shorter to that right porch, even though it's like an elevation thing. I just want to see it in Cubby Cove. But anyway, San Francisco puts Kyle Harrison on the mound. He has ridiculous strikeout stuff, 28.6% K rate on the season. A lot of that in relief. 61.8% hard hit, 15-degree launch. That is just screaming to fire up guys who don't strike out a lot in Tatis and Machado. And something tells me, well, actually my data tells me, Machado's going to be the much longer number. So anything above plus 455 is going to be on the card. Plus 455. Wanted to double check that. And I think he's going to be north of plus 500 here in San Francisco. I think it's a great sneaky spot to be invested against Kyle Harrison, who definitely has good strikeout stuff, but against guys who are going to make contact, 60% hard hit. I'll take my shots with Machado against lefties like that every single time. And that does it for, well, I guess a sub 25-minute edition of MLB Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to the comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist on the board for this lovely slate we have before us. Thank you, producer Jacob, for your fantastic work on a daily basis. Sometimes. Lindy 5, that is always great work, right? Guys, bets lose. They definitely lose. I'm never going to pretend it's something it's not. But I guarantee you with me, I'm going to work harder. I'm going to be profitable over any long-term sample size, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. So jump into the premium Discord, Lindy 5, $5 for your first week. Would love to see you all there. Thank you, producer Jacob. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Let's keep it rolling. What's the tag? Oh, yeah. Best of luck in the MLB streets on Wednesday.